Good evening, race fans and friends. Welcome to Tuesday night here as we get ready to sit down for another hour and talk racing, hang with some buds, talk about our favorite sport. How you doing today, Adam?
I was doing okay, Clint, and I noticed you're always so much better dressed than I am to come on our
I
show.
try a little bit.
You're always representing the brand. And then I get thinking, wait a second, he represents the same brands that I represent, but he's got a lot more swag than I have. Like, that's a really nice United Racing Series hat. I love that hat.
You're at all the same places I am every week.
I
All you
know.
gotta do is talk to the right people.
How come I don't leave with door prizes?
Um, I might even bought this one for real at Sable a couple years ago because it was so hot in the sun.
You know
Um,
what? I've done that at times too when we've been places, gone and bought something. It's good to support the. I'm only busting. I used to get all sorts of hats, and I would give them away.
if you could see what's above my shelf here, like I got another shelf like that one right here above my head, and it's just 10 deep, 8 wide. That's my problem. I do the hat dance before the show because I don't want too lazy to brush my hair or whatever. So I got to throw a hat on. So it's carefully calculated what I wear every week. I will say that. I always try and represent the right brands. I'm like, I can't really. My bumming around sweater is a Stuart Friesen sweater that T Mac bought all the boys to hang out at the garage. Bought us around the sweaters 2 years ago. It's wore out. I never wear it on the air, but it's my bumming around the house sweater. But I wouldn't wear a Stuart Friesen sweater on the show. That's the other thing. I got all these racing T-shirts, but I can't show up to the track in someone's T-shirt. That's not right. Isn't that a conflict of
No,
interest
I
for me?
think the only actually it's funny. If you're a racer, the only thing you should really not wear at the track is your own merch.
Everybody does it. But let's
You can
talk
wear
about
crew
that. What
shirt.
I just said. Look, I can't show up with a Bailey Hurd shirt on.
I don't see
People
why
think
not.
I'm rooting for Bailey.
Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, why can't you? We're rooting for all of our guys.
See, I'll wear that when I go to Merrittville to hang out, or
That's fair.
somewhere else to hang out, or to a NASCAR race, but
Appearances
not
matter.
for myself. That was yeah. Let's. I just mentioned Stuart. Congratulations to Stuart. I totally forgot to message him. I'm bad. You did tell me Saturday, like as he's getting out of the truck, send him a text right now and tell him to come on Tuesday. But congratulations, Stuart. It was 70 plus races since he was able to get his NASCAR truck into victory lane. I was actually napping at Flamborough, I'll admit it, for half an hour in the truck, and you called me and said, "Where are you at?" And I come to the tower, and we caught the radio interview, so it was great. Obviously, emotional win, so all the best to Stu. We'll see if he can't reel him in. Maybe next week. He should still be in a good mood. Not that he's in
I
a
would
bad
think
mood.
so. And the fact, so what a lot of people don't know that watch the sport, all trucks are not created equal. They run their
Correct.
shop, I believe. What do you say? They have 14 or 15 people working in that shop. It is a fraction of what their competition works with, and they're able to accomplish
Yeah, and
what
they're
they
building
do.
all their own trucks and chassis and everything, too, which is pretty wild. So,
So
Toyota Motor.
it's not just a cool Canadian story. There's a lot of things that add up that should make people pretty excited to cheer for them.
Yeah, we'll go back to a few things. As always, throw any comments or questions you want to talk about. It always spurs us on. There's always things we forget to bring up. So if you guys have anything you want to chat about, we can talk about it. Now, part of this program, Adam, is our core mission is kind of to support the series that we work with, let's say. So each week we do our best to get a hot APC story, previous winner, upcoming race to try and help, JP this week sells tickets or talk about Ush Weekend or something that we have going on in our realm. So that's what we're going to do this week again. We've invited Ryan Kimble on the show. Ryan won opening night at Peterborough. He's one of the standouts, and that's kind of the beauty of what's happened in the last, I want to say 2 seasons or so with the APC, Adam, is they've allowed home track teams to compete with the late model tour even if the rules aren't 100% identical, to get the home track guys to support these series. So that's a good thing we've got going on. And Ryan, I assume, is going to be jumping into the race on Saturday. Now, Ryan, welcome to the program. Get him on here for us, Spencer. Now, I hope you're going to race Saturday because we just set it up like you are. I didn't ask that, Ryan. Are you going to participate Saturday?
Yeah, we're gonna be there Saturday. So yeah, we after the opening night up there, Graham and I basically did the switch over there. So yeah, we're about 100% ready to go there. So we're hopefully gonna load up and put on a good show and see how it goes.
How much is there to change, Ryan, from what you would run on a regular Saturday to run with the APC?
Well, now that we don't have to run restrictors, so previous in the previous years we used to have to run the restrictors. We're about almost 75 to 90 pounds overweight. The big change is the Hoosier tire to the American Racer. Obviously having to get some and stagger. They're 5 pounds more a tire. So I mean, by the time change it over, do the scale, get the wedge properly and everything, the ride heights that you need. So it's a bit of a change, but it's nothing that we're not used to, and we always used to run on that tire, so it's we enjoy it. I do enjoy the Hoosier tire too, but I mean the American Racer is just a. I've always thought it was a little inconsistent tire, so but I've heard over the past couple of years it's been a lot better, so we'll see.
Ryan, other than tires and that setup, are like what are some of the other differences? Would you say your car is pretty much an APC car with exception of tires, or are you changing a lot more than that, or are you on kind of the home track special package that they're allowed to run?
No, I'm pretty much 100% APC. Obviously, with running the APC program there for years, we're 100% APC car right now. So yeah, that's the fortunate thing. Like I could load up and go anywhere else, and a few other cars are not quite 100% APC, but I mean, obviously with the package that they bring, they're able to run, right? So it's good. I believe Dan's going to be there. He obviously dominated last year. He was really, really strong. So yeah, we'll see, right? I mean, and we won opening night, but I think Dan was a little bit better, but had some brake issues. So we've made some adjustment changes in the car, and hopefully it's a little better for 100 laps, and hopefully things work in our favor.
Ryan, what's fun to you about the challenge of the APC series coming to town? Obviously, you followed the tour in years past, but it has to feel better to when the series comes to you in Peterborough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really enjoyed obviously being 20 minutes. I mean, I got a ton of respect for the tour. I mean, I got a ton of respect how it gets run and the tech and the whole 9 yards. And I mean, the only reason we got out, I believe we did it under Sean there for SMG Motorsports, and him and I got a great relationship. I mean, it wasn't we didn't get out because of money, and we just got out because obviously, he wanted to do other things and I wanted to do other things, and he's a huge supporter of my program still, right? I mean, I get to the racetrack because of him. Great relationship and the whole 9 yards, and I just like I said, I enjoy when it comes. I would like to do more of them and whatnot, but I just the time wise and Peterborough being 20 minutes away, and it's more fan base and sponsors and stuff like that. But got a ton of respect for the tour. I mean, it's the best of the best, right? I mean, obviously there's a lot of drivers that have got out of it in the past 3 4 years that are really really strong talent too. So, but it still keeps bringing a lot of talent to it, right? So good for them.
Ryan, as a hometown guy, like for the fans, and I guess myself as a dirt guy who's been kind of converting to the pavement, I hear everybody talk about it seems to be the one place, Peterborough, that everybody loves to come. It's fast. Why is that place so fast, and why do all the drivers kind of really like and look forward to coming to Peterborough? Whereas that's not the same for all the other tracks on the tour, because some of them are a lot tougher. Why is Peterborough the kind of the driver favorite?
Well, I mean, I guess they could say that while if they were on the bottom lane, it's definitely not a favorite if you're stuck on the high line. But I mean, it is a fast, real racetrack. I mean, a couple of years ago, Steckley came down and he was leading, and then I challenged on the outside, and I mean, I came on the radio and I said, like, holy crap, this is my home track. Like, I should be able to, have a couple one ups up on him. and he kept pushing me up, and he had wicked great starts, and then I was just like, the little bastard almost intimidated me, and he's good, right? I mean, he's gonna be tough to beat, and he's traveling all around, and he's the best. He's pretty much the best right now, right? So I mean, all these guys, Jake Sheridan, all these guys are gonna come in. They're gonna have quick setups, and that's what the cool thing about the tour is. They adapt so fast, and they got the proper crews, and they just they just come in, and but it's like, when we go to Flamborough and Sabo, we always have speed struggle at Delaware. Everybody has a racetrack, right? So, but I mean, I don't think guys like Steckley need a racetrack. They just go anywhere, and they're going to be one or two, right? So time will tell.
No, and you know what? You always stand up to the competition for sure. Where would you rate your program, Ryan, this year compared to the last few years?
In all honesty, our program is about the exact same as it even was with Sean. I mean, Sean obviously kept us on our toes with the whole program and the maintenance stuff like that. But obviously, doing that for the past 5-6 years with him, and like I said, he always gave us the best, and we did bring a lot of speed in the ABC Tour, and we just couldn't get one. I mean, we went up to Sawville there 2-3 times, and for a racetrack we never even been to, we dominated. We would get to lap 90 and get a flat tire, and one time we had a straightaway lead and got a flat tire, and it just it obviously, you get a lot of respect for the tour, and you're not owed anything, right? I mean, look at Josh Stott. He was in it for 5-6 years and finally got a win with a year ago, right? So those one-offs, so like what Dan did last year, I don't think that's a normal thing. I mean, it's just you need a bit of luck on your side, and I mean, he had that luck in that race. Like, he was able to pass a guy like myself and Gemmel battling for third or fourth. I mean, he was able to pass 2 cars in 1 lap. It's hard enough to do to pass that car, there in 10 laps. So it's everything worked in his favor, and I mean, it's one of those things. You need a lot of luck behind you, right?
Ryan Alvers wants to know what chassis you use.
It's a McCall chassis. Obviously we had some Furies there. Like I said, good cars. Decided to go with the McCall program to get the support from Mike and Paulie and all that, and they've been super supportive. And Sean bought us a new one there in 2019. Did some changes, weren't really happy with the car. Obviously, you got to try things to learn, and then we got another one in 2022 there. And when Sean and I split, sort of thing, and I don't even look at it as a split. We just sort of, got out of the program a little bit and downsized. And like I said, he's a huge part, and I still wouldn't be doing it without him, right? So, yeah, it's a McCall, and he basically gave us the car, and we just continue to do our thing with it.
How tough is it? So, what is the difference? And give us the dumbed down answer. What's the difference from one chassis to the next? If so, a McCall car in 2019 to a McCall car in 2022, how much difference is there, and how much do you have to do to it, Ryan, and your team to make it yours?
Well, in all honesty, like, so with the McCall cars, I mean, I'll be totally transparent. They're all different, which sort of sucks sometimes, because you call down if you need a spindle or something, every car is different. So that's the unique thing. Someone like a Fury car and a Hampke car, I mean, they're totally built differently. Like, you call down, you need a spindle. They know exactly your spindle is, so it is a lot easier if you need stuff. But the hindsight, I mean, Paulie and Mike and all those guys, they're good. They're the best in the business, and they know what's going on. And if you have a good relationship with them, it sort of works in your favor, right? But it's also tough when there's 15 McCall cars. So when we started the program, we thought, if we can't be with them, we got to try to beat them, right? And we went with the Fury, and I think we brought a lot of speed. It's no different guys like Gressel that went Hampke's, and certain guys went Whitey and stuff. I mean, you sort of got to do something different, right? So if you're not getting the same stuff. So we've obviously all done it long enough that who's got the best of the best and puts the most money in. So sometimes, that works in your favor too, right? So
What does it mean if you can knock it down Saturday, Ryan, at home? The one you've been trying to go after for a while. This would be huge, right?
Oh, it would be huge, right? I mean, it would have been huge a couple years ago at Sauble and stuff like that, but it's I mean, racing with J.R. Fitzpatrick and thinking he was in second that night and thinking, oh man, that guy should go easy on me. He's leading the points and, 10 laps to go and you get dumped. I mean, that's just tough racing, right? I wouldn't consider it his fault and wouldn't consider, I mean, it's two guys going for the same real estate. And that's like me and Dan, on a Saturday night. Dan's, he's the best in the business too. Like, he could run the tour too, and he's got the stuff to do it. He just, with the family and whatnot. And I mean, Dan and I have it out almost every week. Either one of us, get into each other, and it's just, I go home pissed and he goes home pissed. It's just one of those things. But it would mean a lot. It would mean a lot anywhere, really. I mean, a win's a win, but the APC one would be huge, right? Because we seem to not be able to get her done yet.
How friendly or unfriendly is that rivalry?
It was definitely friendlier years ago, but obviously since I've been back for the past 2 years, and yeah, like it's one of those things, and I laughed because we went out for the first night, and we lined up beside each other every heat. Like it was one of those things, like right off the start. I started pulling the first heat, he started outside, and he got the lead, and I couldn't get him back and catch him. And I said on the radio, I was like, like it's just we can't seem to get away from each other. It's obviously good racing. I mean, that's what the fans come to see, and he's there to put on a show, and so am I, right? It's just one of those things. It's we haven't chatted in a long time. It was it's a little frustrating, and you're nodding your head at him, whatnot. But I did go over after the first heat and pat him on the back because, regardless of how mad I was at the ACC, you try to be a little more professional and just, like I said, I have a ton of respect for him. It's just sometimes when you get the helmet on, we do certain things, right? So
That's how it's supposed to be.
yeah, sometimes, yeah.
I got one more for you, Ryan, and I'll let you go. Tell the fans watching, if someone's never been to Peterborough, why they should come out Saturday and check out the series.
Oh, like I said, it's the best series. It brings a ton of atmosphere. It's like I said, it's just totally professional. If you were to walk the pits, everything you guys do and everything the whole tour does, right down to tech and lining up, and the whole atmosphere is different, right? I tell a lot of people, like it's not a regular Saturday night. It's as much as they try to do it. I mean, when the tour comes in, it's the best of the best, and I believe that's why it'll fill the grandstands. I mean, certain people that travel and watch the races on G-Force and stuff like that, they just know it, right? It comes with a whole different domain, and it just it's one to not miss.
Awesome. Well said, Ryan. I love coming to the Peterborough weekend because I enjoy watching you and Dan duke it out. You race with a lot of passion. We talked about this earlier, actually. We can't really show up to the racetrack as race fans, but I have a lot of appreciation for the drivers who you put it all out there.
Yeah.
For better or worse, you put it all out there, and I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Right on, Ryan. We'll see you Saturday.
Okay, see you guys. Have a good night. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ryan.
Cheers, man. Thanks for
Flying
joining.
Ryan Kimble. He'll be driving with the APC series on Saturday night. And, man, they got some great stories in Peterborough, Adam. And one of the stories, like he mentioned, some people follow the series. I've had at least 2 gentlemen come out to me last visits at Peterborough and say, hey, we've seen it on G-Force and we wanted to come up and check it out because it looks like a great spot. Peterborough is great. Probably one of the best spots for food around. Like, they got the brownies, they got the fries. Like, there's so much good stuff going on there. If you're a foodie, drive to Peterborough Saturday. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, the food is great. I think the seating is great. Like, you can see everything for sure.
Yeah. Not a bad
it's a
seat
good
in the house. That's for sure.
Hmm.
All right. We'll be there APC around dinner time Saturday to check it out. Spencer, I haven't even seen the schedule yet, I don't think. No, not edible brownies. Well, they're edible, but not those kind of edibles, Alvers. But they got some kind of bake shop there, Adam, right? They make brownies right in-house or something.
I don't think the bake shop is there, but they do run it. Those brownies are something special. Like, yeah,
they must
wild.
use like a race car to bring them over because they are fresh and so soft. All right. How to line them up, Adam. This was a post you sent in from Mike Marler at the Eldora week complaining about inverts. Show the post if you can, Spencer. How to line them up. And this was, I'm pretty sure I sent it to you in the, there we go. Why bother? This is Mike Marler yelling at Eldora Speedway. Why bother to get what you earn? Had to start fourth in the heat race I should have been on the pole of. Now we're fixing a wreck. There's plenty of good competition to see a good show without inverts. No need to penalize drivers who work hard. Do better. Inverts gotta go. Adam, this is a heated debate among race fans. Racers want to earn their spots through qualifying and performance. Race fans want to see the fast guy from last week start at the back as deep as we can. So, where are we on this debate?
I have such mixed emotions because my initial instinct is stop your bitching. You know, you knew the deal going in. Don't go so fast. Try to play the invert. Try to do better. It's not how racers work. Wrecks happen. They're part of racing. So most of me wants to say, suck it up. You knew the deal going in. You still took your chances. Part of me understands what they're saying. An invert is a gimmick. It is not a pure racing decision. It is a gimmicky decision, but it serves a purpose. So I shared it. I almost didn't have, and it's weird for me, Clinton. I used to have opinions on everything, and I would very quickly in my mind be able to gravitate to what I thought was right. I'm not like that anymore. Like, I want to say, suck it up. This is what you're doing. But I also think, yeah, that tough break. You were the fastest and crashed in traffic that you feel you shouldn't have been in.
I kind of threw you into the rapids there because it's not a question you can answer with one sentence. Because are we talking major event like the Eldora Late Model Dream Week is? Because at an event like that, I kind of agree with Mike Marler. You've got the best in the world there. You've got the best in North America there. You've got 80, 90, 100, however many cars you got. Let the best of the best fight the best of the best and be the best of the best in a one-off big money show. I can accept that. I'm cool with that. I fought with my dad last week about week 2 at Oshweekend. Why is Bailey and Beagle getting to open draw? They should be stuck at the back at least last week's winner. And I'm like, well, Dad, why should Beagle be penalized back to 20th? And then the guys fighting in the points, Bailey still gets second. At the end of the year, that turns out to be a 3-point deficit that decision cost him the win. So weekly, I get it. I also take it to another division and say that by class, it also matters. The system we run at Oshweekend with our 360 sprints, I never felt would work at Maryville with the modifieds. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's the closing rate of the sprint cars, the fact that they get into lap traffic sooner. It seemed like there's still always a chance for the guy in second to catch that leader. I think if you put Bicknell on the pole at Maryville or Matt Williams or Lindbergh every week, you wouldn't have much of a show. And I can't explain it. You know, Thunder stocks, street stocks, yeah, stick them at the back. It's a debate that rages on all the time. And then even if you're doing time trials, we're still inverting 4 guys to give a bit of a show in the heats with our new system. You know, it's really where you are, I guess, in the racing spectrum. If you're a race crew, a driver, a fan, a sponsor, depends on how you like it.
Well, here's an interesting thought. I've followed NASCAR Canada since 2007. It has always been fastest driver to the front. I can't remember maybe 2 or 3 times ever where a car has gotten out front from starting up front and just driven away. And there was
That's
never
a different
action.
deal, right? That's like we talked about different divisions bring different situations, because in that situation, they're inevitably going to wear out these tires. And the guy who's fast in the first 20 may not be the fastest in the last 20. So you do have that level of tire management. And in a 15-lap or 20-lap mini stock, street stock race, 25-lap sprint race, you don't have that, you know? And the other thing is handicapping. I feel put you on an island because you really have to race a place to drive in there if you're a good guy, and by mean that a competitive car, and know you're going to start 25th and try and be happy about it. You have to work 3 weeks into the rotation to get a decent spot. That's the beauty of our system at Oshweekend with the sprint cars. A Todd Hoddick could go camping like he did last weekend with the family, come back this week and jump right back in, not out of deal. Jordan Poirier makes the 9-hour drive to Oshweekend on Friday because he's got to go to Freedom on Saturday and says, hey, I might as well come up, have some fun. I'm off on a Friday. He would never do that if he's going to be starting back in 25th. That's exaggerating. Let's say 18th for handicapping system. I mean, even 12th, he wouldn't come, right? So it's just, I don't know.
So let's go way out into left field. It used to be when they ran super modifieds, there was an A class and a B class. And if you won the championship in the B class, you had to move to the A class the next year, or you don't race.
Okay, that was the second half of the fight home with Gary. We were arguing. He goes, well, in my day, if you won, you had to move up. And I'm like, yeah, but Dad, back then, everything was out of the junkyard. The mini stock bought your motor at the junkyard for $50, and the modified bought his motor for $150 at the junkyard. Now you're telling a guy who buys a mini stock motor for $500 at the junkyard, he now has to move to a $12,000, street stock engine. You're running guys out of the sport. So how are you going to do that? And I'll tell you where the debate came. It was all about Cody McPherson. Cody, we're picking on you. How many years are they going to let Cody stink up the sportsman division was how it all started. Let's bring on Cory Turner and see what his thoughts are on this. Cory, back in your grandfather's day and when your dad was getting in it and Uncle Joe, if you won the championship, you had to move up or move out. What's your feelings on that?
Yeah, you know what? You guys got me okay?
Yeah,
we hear you.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? That's a tough one because there's some guys that, like you said, Clint, they can't afford to move up. So they run the division that they're in or they don't race. Other guys can afford to move up, but don't. So that's a real tough one. Even when my grandfather was racing, he always had a lot of help from his brother-in-law, Roy Hamill. And, it got to about the mid 80s and the costs went up exponentially and he'd had enough. He got out and, but they always did their own engine work. They were two steel workers, and they could afford to run, 3 times a weekend, a lot of times. So that's, those days are long gone. Like to run 3 times a weekend in any division is difficult.
No, it's a huge challenge. Cory, does Oshweekend have the best? I don't want to set it up like that. How do you like the qualifying format that you're running this year at Oshweekend?
I like it personally. I was one of the guys that proposed it into a vote, and it barely won in the vote when we voted on it back after the rules meeting. It's just it kind of puts the faster cars with each other, and it still comes down to who's in your heat race mostly. Friday night we were lucky enough to go quick time, but we did not out time the other guys in the other groups. So had we been in another group, maybe we didn't go quick time. Who knows? But yeah, it's I like it. High limit, World of Outlaws. Even the All-Stars now, they're all straight up. SOS, ESS are straight up, GLSS. So basically in 360 sprint car racing, everything is straight up.
Yeah, Cory, I guess that debate we were just having, why do you think it works with sprint cars? Whereas like I was saying at Maryville or in the Sportsman, like look, they got Cody McPherson starting it's 12th to 15th every week. He's still waxing the field. They couldn't let him start on the pole every week like we do. Somehow it works in sprint cars. Why won't it work with other divisions? Or maybe a better question is, why do you think it does work with the sprint cars, this open system where we can still put on fairly entertaining show? You're going to have guys like Westbrook who are going to be on their game sometimes and just, they're on top of it. But for the most part, why does it work?
And you know what? We're gonna have different tracks every every time trial session. You know, last Friday night, last weekend, we were locked down 13 threes. That's a really good lap for a 360. We went to Buxton Saturday night, and the place blew off in like 2 laps, and I was loose, and you know, didn't end up going quick time, and it actually it hurt us the rest of the night, track position wise. But you know, that's our own fault, not reading the racetrack correctly, and just not quite, you know, not laying down as good a lap as we should have to set up the rest of the night. But you know, sprint car racing has always been dog eat dog. You know, handicapping is good if you want to keep some of the lesser racers coming back every week. You know, in the dirt modified world, sportsman world, that's been the precedent. You know, at Merrittville, Ransomville. I don't think Ransomville does it anymore in the modifieds, but for years, you know, if you wanted to win, you know, the guys that were, you know, winning, my dad a little bit, you know, Pete Bicknell back in the modifieds, you know, you had to do it from 18th.
Yep.
Sorry, Cory. I'm just in the background doing some clicking because I had some thoughts, and I just put it in the in our chat there, Clinton. So I apologize for that. How was the show down at Buxton, Cory, Saturday?
Oh, it was pretty good. You know, huge shout out to Peter and you know, all of his sponsors, the SOS, for putting up $5,000 to win, 500 to start. You know, that's always you know, that's a huge feather in their cap. We, you know, I know we have one at Ashweekend later in the month, so that we're looking forward to that. Track was smooth. It was extremely slick, extremely dusty. But you know what? It's the same surface for everybody. It, you know, didn't rubber up. Not that place ever does, but you know, so hey, it's the same for everybody, and it was smooth. There's no holes where you're going to lose your car or anything like that.
Spoken like a true Bob Ross, right, Adam? Cory, let's talk. That was Adam's dad's favorite saying. Same for everybody. Let's talk about the crowds. As a promoter, manager, I hate Buxton for the crowds they get. I'm so jealous and envious of the people that show up there weekly. Like, I'm pissed off about it. I saw pictures from it. Why do they get such a crowd, Cory? The place is packed every freaking Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty full, but you know, one of the things you got to look at, you know, the Buxton stands are not, they're not overly large. Like, you could probably put 8 of them into or 10 of them into the Ashweekend stands. Like the crowd that Ashweekend had at the Outlaw show, that was massive. You know, you couldn't get another ass in the pit stands, and you know, the front side was super full as well. So those Buxton stands were definitely full on Saturday, but it's really tough to tell how many people they actually hold.
Yeah.
You know, the pits were full too. They come out in droves for the wing sprint cars. But yeah, like, you know, when you start filling up the Ashweekend stands, now that is a super crowd.
Lost your mic, Adam. You mute something?
Yeah, I got too much technology.
There you go.
I should turn it on and just go. Is there any places, Cory, that you've raced where you notice the crowd?
I never focus on the crowd. Even like when we were racing during COVID, and everybody's like, "Oh, you know, there's no crowd there." I never look at the stands when we're on the racetrack. I'm always trying to look 400 feet ahead of myself, as my grandfather would say. Make sure you look over your hood ornament.
Even a pace lap though, or a yellow flag lap to have a look up.
No, even you know, the 4 wides, I'm watching where I'm going. I do not ever want to be a culprit of something bad happening in one of those deals.
Cory, one of the question thing, what's up with JT this year? Is he retired? That was a question here in the chat.
No, he's not retired. He just raced with the wingless guys there a couple weeks ago. I think you might possibly see him out with a wing on this Friday at Ashweekend. He ran with a wing there Saturday at Buxton. Yeah, I don't think he's ready to hang it up yet. He's got a ton on his plate. You know, he does all my engine work for me, as well as, you know, working at DSE during the day, and you know, he gives her, to put it simple. You know, and I'm extremely blessed to have him. working on my stuff. The 360 we're running right now was it wasn't originally built by him, but it's got a new cam package that he came up with, and man, the thing's been really good in time trials, and it drives good in the slick too. So we're excited to see what we can do with it the rest of the year.
How important is his feedback? I know, Cory, that he watches pretty close what you're up to. Is it more having a sounding board for you?
Yeah, you know what? It was his dad that always harped on us, in the stands. Hey, tell me what that car's doing. Is he tight on entry? Is he loose off? Is he loose in? So to have him in the stands watching, because honestly, if you're too tight in a sprint car in turn one, when you get to turn three, you make it turn. That's it. And sometimes it's tough to think. After the heat race, it goes by pretty quick in 8 laps. It's tough to think. What'd the car feel? What did it need? And sometimes when guys think they're loose off, they're breaking the car loose because they're tight on entry. So one funny story, when we were able to make the Outlaw Dash there a month ago, he gets pretty fired up. He likes adjustments, so he was running the toolbox to get some wrenches and try to tune the thing in, and we talked him out of it a little bit, just to because we had a really good car as it was, and he made a few adjustments for the A, and they were good, and it's been really helpful having him on my side, really watching over things this year for sure.
Cory, we're moving to that new tire. How do you feel about it? You got to race on it with the ESS. Just for our viewers, wrap a couple things. JT is his dad, Jamie Turner, if you didn't catch the inside lingo. We're moving to the new tire, kind of industry-wide here with the ELSS, the crates, Ashweekend, the CSRS, CSRA sprints. You got to race it with the ESS. What's your feelings on the tires? Is it going to be a huge difference at Ashweekend or not so much?
You know what? It's definitely different setup wise. The car just really doesn't feel like it's into the racetrack at all. It feels like it's really on top, which is, what it's designed to do. It's narrower, it's harder. I think it's gonna be tougher for guys to get out and run away, I feel. But you know what? The fast guys, Nick Sheridan had no problem with it when he won there a couple weeks ago. So the fast guys will still be fast. It's just it's going to take some different ideas and some different thoughts. That's for sure.
If you were to give yourself a report card so far, Cory, on the season to date, how do you feel it's going?
I'd say probably about an A-. I thought we overachieved by far at the Outlaw show. Dropped a valve at Merrittville. That's shit happens. But the Outlaw show, I feel like we overachieved. I mean, we got some good fortune. We got some good draws. We went out early both nights for qualifying. We were able to draw the 2 in the dash. But you know what? I'm very blessed to have the guys that I have around me. My longtime crewman and godfather of my child, he made a hell of a call for me there in time trials. He said, just do one lap, through the middle to the bottom. And I said to him, was David Gravel on the bottom? He said, no, he was ripping around the top. And I'm like, well, Cody Jacobs and Gravel, they didn't get to where they are from, being dumb. So I said, you got to promise me this is going to work. And he said, I've seen 100 races here. Just do one around the middle. And when we did that on the second lap of the second night, I knew it was good through 1 and 2. And that set us up on the front row of the heat race. So it was his call that really helped me. And, my dad did a good job fueling the engine, and we have a huge crew, and the whole Nathan Ackland racing crew, we've really gelled over here. It's our third year together. And, you know what, I'm very blessed to be a part of that team and keep ripping. But yeah, I'd say about an A-. The ESS show, we made the redraw, and then, made some bad adjustments for the feature. And then last weekend, we were a 3rd and 4th place car, which I thought was pretty decent. And I think we can get it better going forward.
Right on, Cory. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll look for you Friday again as we go back live on G4 7:30. for a full night of action. Again, Cory will be in them with 360s. Cory, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me. And we'll see you Friday.
Cory, one of the contenders for the championship in the Cool Kids Core Pack 360 Sprints weekly at Ush Weekend. As I mentioned, you can catch them every week right here on GeForce 7:30 p.m. Don't forget, Thursday night, the Mac and Jack show. We would call and have fun with that. They did such a great job last week. If you didn't catch it, nothing but rave reviews for McLean and Jack for what they were able to pull off the micro sprint and go-kart program on Thursdays. We are super excited about it. Spencer did a great job producing it, and that program is going to continue to grow. And we're live 7 o'clock Thursday nights on the channel with the next generation of dirt superstars coming up through. Waiting for Treyten Lapsovich to join us. He'll stop on and talk about some news that dropped today about an ARCA event he's got coming up at Berlin. But before we jump into that, let's talk a little bit about Clint's bitch session. Timing and scoring is a beef I have lately, Adam, and I'm just going to send out a plea to the tracks who are doing it this way to fix it, please, because even guys like us who are educated, I'm trying my best to follow what's going on at your event and your speedway, and if I can't figure it out, not to say I'm one of the best, but if we can't figure it out, how is a casual fan going to figure it out? Show the 2 screenshots I said, Spencer. So this is my beef, Adam. This is what some of the tracks are doing, okay? So they put up, this is on...
that looks like
Monitor.
Flamborough. Yeah.
This is Race Monitor. It's actually not Flamborough.
Oh, I guess not with junior late models. Okay.
Okay, so but here's where we are. Okay, so you have a pro late model race at 1:19 p.m. Great. Is it a heat? Is it time trials? Does the clock there beside it mean it's time trials? Is it a dash? I don't know. And then we're going to a junior. So we have races at different times. I get that. Now show how it should be. And I'm going to talk about this because I made sure we have it the way I feel it should be anyways. So don't just talk about it, be about it, is one of my favorite sayings in life. This is how we do it Ush Weekend. Very clearly labeled. HRW Automotive Mini Stocks. Time, heat number 1, heat number 2, heat number 3, features, right? It's timed hot laps. It's all very clear. So yes, it takes a bit more effort, but as a fan trying to log in, if you're not paying attention on that night, and where this happens for me, Adam, that's a good Spencer. So that's just my beef. If you're ahead of timing and scoring at the track, let's get better at labeling these things. Am I off base? Am I being too nitpicky here, Adam?
When did you pull that graphic from Ush Weekend?
That was an event from last year, I think, probably.
Okay, because I was going to nitpick. It's got the HRW Automotive Mini Stocks on it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, boy, I hope that's not this year.
No. Granted, I just pulled the first one I pulled from results. I haven't looked back. So where you go to Race Monitor, then you go to results, right? And you can search back. Well, I haven't had to go back at Ush Week because I've lived them all live. Where I'm searching back is when I'm doing an event on a Saturday at, say, Flamborough, and I want to watch what's going on, say, at another track, and I can't figure it out. Just make it easy so I can figure out who won heat number 1 and who won the feature without having to guess, okay, that's the last race in the time clock. Maybe that is the feature.
My Race Pass does a very good job with that. If you go and click on any event after the fact, it's very well laid out. And that's what our audience, sorry about this, I keep knocking my computer around. That's what our audience deserves.
Look, you want to talk about what our audience deserves? How about the NASCAR Canada Series? And I'm going to pick at them. They have not got their shit together with timing and scoring for their fans, their drivers, in 10 effing years. And there's no excuse for it. They're going to blame the South. Every other short track can make this happen for all their fans. How the hell can you, a national tour, not get this shit right? Ever, Adam, am I wrong? I was an announcer with them for 5 years. I still can't. You have some special coded link that you can get to. Yeah. Be a casual fan to figure it out. Good luck. And the race monitor, the race center, it's sad. It's sad. And guys like Cam Harris has been bitching about it for years to get it fixed. And how bad is that when we go to a race there and I'm on pit road and we all have to huddle under one pit stall, usually Fast Eddie's.
Someone's got, exactly. Someone's got it.
So you got 8 teams around because nobody can find on their phones. Nobody can. It's just, come on, be better. NASCAR, be better. Where do we want to go from here? Okay, let's jump into Bloomquist NTSB reports. We wait for Treyten Lasovich to jump in. I didn't send him a link. I haven't sent him a link. Oh, here he is. Just like that. It said Beetlejuice, and there he was. Boom. I only said it once, so not 3
You
times.
said it three
He's
over the course of time. You said it 3
Yeah.
times.
You're right. Probably was the 3rd time I said it. All right, let's have some quick fun with Treyten, and then we'll get into the last few events, which would be talk about Bloomquist. His NTSB report, which is National Transportation Safety Board report, came out, and you're going to be shocked, Adam, if you didn't see it today. What they're saying the cause of death was. So we'll talk about that. Let's jump into a happier story. Treyten Lasovich is going to be with us. Treyten, you dropped news today, a screenshot about ARCA start at Berlin. Tell us about the team. Tell us when the race is. Tell us all we need to know about this situation.
Yeah, so be running with the ARCA series this Saturday at Berlin. I want to say the race is at 7 p.m. or so, going to be on Flow Racing. So really accessible for the fans here in Canada. If you can't, even though it's not that far away either. So if you can't be at the track, it's right there on Flow Racing. Going to be with Nitro Motorsports and Shannon Rush is the crew chief. Nick Tucker owns the team. So some really good people. Super closely connected to Venturini, which is the team that I drove for in March there. Nitro's actually taken over Venturini at the end of the year, so they're working really closely together and pretty much in an alliance right now. So really excited. It was really last minute, really good opportunity, and I'm really happy that it was all able to come together.
Treyten, how excited are you that this is a short track? Like Berlin is a driver's track. Get up on the wheel, high speed.
Yeah, I love Berlin. I haven't had too much like luck there in the late model. We did the 250 lapper last year and we were terrible in practice and qualifying. I think we qualified 30th and ended up 10th somehow, but wasn't really that great, but I love the track, so I was like, we better go again this year. And we were there a week and a half ago. Was actually fast this time and just had a problem, but no, super fun track. I love Berlin. It's going to be really interesting in the ARCA car. It's basically, I don't know if you've ever seen the track. It's just a big circle. So you're just constantly turning. The ARCA cars are obviously, a lot heavier than the late model is, more power. So it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be interesting. Gonna have to manage the tires. It's gonna be slick the whole race, but it's right up my alley, I feel.
Treyten, how's a deal like this come together? Is this something you're out hunting for rides to stay with the series, or someone coming knocking on your door? Tell us a bit about, well, what you can anyways, the business end of this.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't really been looking to do much ARCA racing recently. Obviously, ARCA is just, it's super expensive, compared to the late model racing and whatnot. Billy Venturini, he sent me a message and there was just, a really good opportunity to step in, got connected with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship and they were, gracious enough to help me out again. So super thankful to have their support and have them on board. And yeah, it was really, it only come together about, a week or so ago. Pretty quick, right place, the right time, I guess, and have some great people that were willing to step up to make it happen.
Now, Treyten, let's back up a couple of weeks because you provided color commentary at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. How'd you enjoy live TV?
I don't know how you guys do it. It was tough, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I think that I probably still enjoy being behind the wheel more, but I don't think that's really a surprise to anyone. But no, I actually, once kind of got in the swing of things, I felt pretty comfortable doing it. I know there's definitely places where I can improve quite a bit. So it was a lot of fun. It was a new experience. It's kind of a way to stay in it.
No, and I messaged you after the fact, and I meant everything I said. I think the hardest thing for someone to do is close out their thought. We can all talk. All of us can speak. But when it comes to doing that sort of work, you need to say what you want to say and then finish what you have to say, because something else is about to happen. And I thought you
Yeah.
did a really good job with that. You kept your points. They were relevant, but you got to the end and you stopped and let the race progress a little bit and do it some more. Did anyone coach you on that beforehand?
No, I was like kind of thrown right into it. Like obviously we got together a couple times in advance to kind of talk about how it was gonna run, like kind of how the start of the show was gonna go and how the end of the show, because you can kind of you guys know better than me, but you can kind of plan that stuff out, like know how it's gonna go. But then the rest of it, I guess you kind of just you never know what's gonna happen. So once I was kind of thrown into it there, I was Dave did a really good job kind of just leading me on, I guess you could say, giving me pretty good talking points. And then, as we went on, I got a little bit more comfortable too, to kind of talk about some of the stuff that I was seeing as well. But no, it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Well, of course, Dave could carry you. He carried Adam for 10 years. So
For
you're a
years.
lot lighter than Adam. Treyten, what do you got coming up beyond Berlin? Anything in the lineup? Anything concrete that you know of?
No, not right now. I think that we're gonna try and, keep getting our late model out as much as we can. And maybe getting the zero car a couple more times when Glenn's out racing whatever other car he's running. So, no, that's probably kind of what our plans are moving forward. I started an accounting internship this week, so I'm a little more tied up and, a little less flexibility than I had been, the rest of the spring. But no, we're just gonna kind of try and shoot for whatever we can do. We've been running our late model as a pro late these past few weeks and had a lot of fun doing it. But we're probably gonna get the big motor back in there soon. Went and picked it up the other week, so probably get the big motor in it and try and find a super race to go hit and just have some more fun the rest of the summer.
Steve Bristow sent me a question for you, Treyten. Said, all things being equal, is there a car or a series that you prefer over the rest?
Um, I don't know. That's a tough one. Um, I don't know. I've driven so many cars over the last 12 months. I don't think I've ever not been smiling driving any one of them. The super late model is a lot of fun. Obviously, they all have their things, right? I mean, the super late model is fast and it's fun and it's stuck to the track. And, most of the time you're not having to worry about being super loose out of the corner and driving the shit out of it. The ARCA car, the NASCAR Canada Series car, and the late model stock, I would say even group into there. They're a little bit different because they're a lot heavier. They got more power than like pro late models, not as much as the supers, but a lot heavier, less suspension. They're harder to drive, and I mean that's fun too. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that I necessarily have a favorite. They each kind of have their things that stand out to me.
Right on, Treyten. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate you stopping by as always, and we'll be lurking always. If something happens, we're going to be on your ass to get on here. We appreciate it. Good luck. Go out, run good Saturday, and come back next Tuesday with a trophy. All right.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Treyten.
Thanks, Treyten. It's cool.
We should
can
also
just jump
mention,
on, drag away. Go ahead.
yeah, we should also mention Lane Zardo being on our
Yes.
stream at Flamborough Saturday. And the funny thing, Clint, we meant it when we invited him last week and reminded him Saturday. And he wasn't sure it was a legit offer. He's, okay, yeah, I'll come down. I don't know how to frame this. It wasn't that big a deal to us, but it should have been because it was a really big deal to him. And I thought he knocked it out of the park. Like, I really enjoyed what he brought to the table. Kevin Small, who we get to work with when we go to Flamborough, I think he's doing a very good job as a track announcer. But we do it all the time. But for someone like Lane, he had never done that. And I would rather he was on the other side of the fence driving race cars. But he really enjoyed the experience, and I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, he had some great driver insights at different points in the night about what drivers would be facing. I always like when we get the drivers involved, the ones that can talk. I think it's a mission we need to work on a bit more, and fill up that third headset when we can with some educated guys and gals, because it's been great. I definitely agree. Lane was definitely an A+ guest to have on there. He did a great job too. Sometimes they stumble a bit, and you're like, hey, we've had guys on there that were like, "Joof, we got out of that one." But Lane was not it. Lane crushed it.
Both of them, Kevin and Lane, whenever we would go to break, am I cutting you off? Like, am I talking to you? No, man, just keep doing what we're doing. It's good. I said,
if only they could hear in the truck, where I guarantee you, I guarantee you, Spencer and Dan were more screaming of what you were doing more than them guys ever. What is Adam doing again? Like when you asked for the in-car camera the other night, and I knew they were having trouble. I'm like, what is he doing? If it works, they're gonna tell him.
Yeah, sometimes
you just have that knack of asking for the thing that just broke, and like the thing they're sweating balls about and pulling their hair out to fix, and you're like, yeah, throw that up right now. And like, you didn't hear that it just crapped out. All right, let's have some fun with a few more things. We did talk about the Case IH apparatus contest. I'm ashamed to say we don't have 100% winner yet because we're trying to get it corporate approved. But here are the two finalists that I think may have a shot in this, but there still is in the running. The one that was an outrunner from right from the beginning was Just in Case. Just in Case. We need the tractor at the Case IH. Also plays on the 100-year-old history of JI Case, which it used to be, which is JI, Just in Case. The other one that has been leading a lot of votes is Miss Fortune. I like that one. Here comes Miss Fortune is pretty good over there. So those ones. Here's some of the other ones: Ernie the Gurney, the Flatliner, the Caution Collector, the Extractor, Harvester, but short form could be Harvey or Harv, and Case H makes a Harvester too. So I think they're going to like that one a little bit. This is one that someone sent in, and I don't know how valid this is. How about Tekwa? That is the Mohawk word for pickup or lift. Here comes Tekwa. That's kind of neat. Just in case, again, the Sprint Splint. We use it for the sprints. There's been a lot of just in case. Stretch, the four-wheel stretcher. The Flatliner. There's been a few good ones, but I think Misfortune and Just in Case are the two that are leading the charge right now. And by Friday, we'll definitely know. I think they're going to have their nameplates on and everything by Friday. So come out and check out what the finals winners of, and we'll announce who's going to get those tickets to Ohsweken Speedway. Let's change the mood a little bit, Adam. We have to talk about a sad week for the flat trackers. Kind of a bit of outside of our realm, but Saturday night at Welland County, it's a flat track race where they race. A Canadian champion lost his life. Tyler Sagan, he was running at the top of the field, got tangled up. This is why it means a lot to us. Anytime you can lose a racer of any discipline is always heartbreaking. But he raced at Ohsweken. These two pictures we just shown is him and his wife and his new baby at Ohsweken in the recent years. Obviously a massive loss. Super well-liked guy. Super ambassador for the sport. And our heart goes out to everybody with Flat Track Canada. So popular, Adam, they put out his GoFundMe account, raised about 35 to 40,000 in a couple of hours. But we wish all the best to and send our condolences out to Tyler's family and all the people from the Flat Track. They'll be coming to Ohsweken later in August, and unfortunately, Tyler won't be with us. So our hearts go out to them. I know I got the messages early Sunday morning because some of our race med crew were on the scene or associated with the dispatch. So sad news, and I just want to mention that's a heartbreaking deal. Another heartbreaking deal was the Bloomquist National Transportation Safety Board. This was kind of shocking today. They put out their report. Spencer, let's run through some of the pictures I sent to you. They ruled it a suicide intentionally, Adam. And I had to research this a bit this afternoon.
I heard that initially. Those were the initial reports.
So they're saying he crashed the plane intentionally into the barn. Show a few more of the screenshots, Spencer. Let's run through this. There's a picture of it. Okay, go on to the next one. There's a couple reports in there too. At the time of the crash, Bloomquist was struggling with a series of health issues that include lower body injuries suffered in a motorcycle crash at 2019 Daytona Bike Week, diagnosis of prostate cancer, back surgery, and recent hospitalization due to complications from a horsefly bite that went unnoticed due to numbness from the motorcycle crash. Bloomquist is one of the winningest drivers in dirt late model history, 94 victories in 502 Lucas Oil starts, 33 victories with the World of Outlaws, including victories were 8 wins in the Dirt Late Model Dream and 4 World 100 triumphs. In total, Bloomquist is credited with more than 600 victories in late models. What else is there, Spencer? So I clicked on the aviation report there, Adam, and there it is. It says right in there, the pilot's intentional flight into a building as an act of suicide was the cause of that. So, do we got any more pictures there, Spence? I'm not sure what else we sent. I thought that was crazy, though. All right, we don't need to see that one, I guess. But yeah, sad deal. Yeah, I guess there comes a point in your life, maybe Adam, where you've done enough, you're in enough pain. I mean, Dick Trickle, same thing, right? Drove out to the funeral home, called 911. They said there's going to be a body in the funeral home in the graveyard. The
cemetery.
Yeah, the cemetery. Sorry, and they said whose, and he said mine, and hung up the phone and shot himself. Just was sick of the pain, sick of the trouble. Done all you could in life. So thoughts go out to them. Now, this is something, Adam, we're going to switch gears now. This came out, a trademark notice. Show the trademark notice, Spencer. So someone came out, whoever, and I don't know whether this is the family or whoever bought all his trademarks, but it says, notice to drivers, Adam. This is something that I found, it kind of pissed me off. Okay? Notice to drivers. The Scott Bloomquist name, image, and likeness. Thank you for participating in the 31st running of the Dirt Late Model Dream. I gotta put my glasses on. That's how bad this is. Before the program begins, we want to acknowledge the tragic loss of Scott Bloomquist. The racing community is still mourning the loss of this important figure. Prior to his passing in 2024 of August, Scott Bloomquist was a Hall of Fame driver in the iconic number 0. Okay, we get all the hero. We don't. Out of respect for Scott Bloomquist's family, loved ones, and licensees. That's the word that bugs me. Please refrain from using Scott's name, image, likeness, trademarks on your cars, apparel, flags, or any other racing gear. Although his family appreciates your interest in paying tribute to Scott and his race legacy, we request that you do not use any of the images, words, designs associated with Scott Bloomquist without written permission. That includes but not limited to Scott Bloomquist, the Scott Bloomquist signature logo, images or illustrations of his car, no weak links, Team Zero Race Cars logo, Team Zero, the Skull and Crossbones logo, or Skull and Crossbones circle logo. If you have any questions or would like the use of the Bloomquist name, image, or likeness, please contact Gerald Newton at Gerald at Arizona Sports Shirts. You know what? Screw you, Gerald. Scott was a legend. And if these guys want to run a 0 on their car, you're going to come down here in Merrittville and tell Todd Gordon, who has a gorgeous purple 0 car in honor of Scott Bloomquist, that he's not allowed to run that at the biggest race where this guy made his career? What kind of assholes are you guys? That seems like capitalism trying to take money from fans who do it. Now, I get it. If I'm out printing black market T-shirts and flags, you got every right to come at me. But how dare you tell another driver, don't run the 0, don't run this thing. Screw you, buddy. We're honoring him. Am I wrong, Adam? That's bullshit.
No, Gerald? You're not wrong. Because that's how we tribute in this sport. Right? That's how you acknowledge that sort of thing. That's how we have events dedicated to it. Like the throwback scheme events. So yeah, that's kind of lame.
Like okay, I agree. I should not be selling Team 0 stickers, no weak link stickers.
100%. If you're profiting, that's different.
Yeah. But if I want to put it on my car or get my decal guy to letter it up, like exactly like Todd Gordon did, it's beautiful. Well, what are we talking about? And everybody knows it, and it makes everybody feel good. Like, yeah. That's our guy. Could you imagine telling every short tracker in North America you can't paint a black 3 car in honor of Dale Earnhardt? Get the F out of here. Go.
Yeah.
I see John French say it's wrong. Go jump in the river at Brighton. You don't deserve it.
Drown yourself in 6 inches of water.
No, it's too pure of a place for you. The water's too clear for an asshole like Gerald. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's a shitty way to go about it, right? All right. Burger Barn videos of the week, and we can go home. What do you got for me, Spencer? Oh, AI is amazing.
Time-lapse.
Look how it takes us through years of Formula One. Love it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but they do it. All right, I don't think we need to watch another. Oh, I was going to say, don't need to watch 20 years. It's changed from 24 to 19 that quick. All right, keep them coming. Oh. How about this? Dodge coming back to NASCAR. That's huge.
It's a big
wonder
deal.
what teams are going to
It's a
jump
big-
over.
Hard to say, you know, when they came on board last time, they come on strong and they bought a lot of talent. I mean, Bill Elliott was their main driver, and Jeremy Mayfield.
Yep.
That turned out great.
Shit, going back that far to the 9 car with Bill Elliott. That is, and Casey Kane. That's way back in the day. All right, keep them coming. Oh, check out these scales, Adam. So it's kind of neat. You drive onto the grandstand, but what if you're the driver that everybody hates and you just spun them out and you're coming for the scales? How much beer and popcorn and garbage are going to get kicked on you as you're driving onto these grandstands to get to the scales? I'm not sure that's
What if
a
you
safe
catch
setup.
fire?
Some part. Yeah. What if you catch fire? Good question. See, things that make you go, All right, what else? Oh, this is at Ransomville. So this is Eric Rudolph's crew, and this is all Lindbergh's crew. Look, they go after the car at him, and don't touch my car. Don't touch my car. Now we got problems.
Man.
Now we got a Donnybrook. And look, here comes security. Just don't touch the car. So there was an apology issued by the Sittler Motorsports team saying they didn't mean to be that way, and either way. Took me back 20 years to my days at Mansfield.
Yeah, stuff you have to do, but just words.
Couple more. Let's see what we got. Okay, this is straight from the Put the Welder Down files. These are in my feed now. I don't know where this is, but these guys are welding up these buggy cart things, and they seem to be street legal wherever these things stuck in my algorithm are from. I don't know what they are. They're like half trailers, half motorcycles, half scrub vehicles. I don't know, man.
Open face helmets. I'd love to see them at the end of their journey with their teeth full of bugs.
Your assignment this week is to find out what we're going to call those buggies, because I'll be sending them every week. There's just stupid shit. All right, let's see the last Burger Barn video of the week. Okay, so Abby's got one of these one wheels, and look at these guys are actually racing them on the dirt bike track. Now I think we know how Abby broke his collarbone last summer.
Good God. That's pretty wild.
Now, it would be one thing if they were racing like around the indoor Indy kart track, you know what I mean, on pavement, but no, they're doing jumps and drifting on them too, which is just nuts.
That's pretty awesome.
And look at even when they're on their own, they're barely stable.
So,
all right, that's enough of that.
Nick, I hope you have a good sense of humor. I think you do. But I could tell you were getting mad at me during the Cory Turner interview because I was kind of fiddling around on my computer. But it popped into my mind that when you interviewed Nick Erskine last week, I couldn't stop giggling. because I love Nick's energy. Nick has fantastic energy. He just loves racing so much. I was happy for him for getting on the podium, but I couldn't get this image out of my head. It's kind of like how Cody McPherson looks like Travis Kelce, right? Like there's just that similar. You see them side by side, but this is how I pictured Nick Erskine, and I'd like to see it become a nickname. Like I think I'm this convinced. Spencer, do you have those two pictures the last two?
He probably didn't know you wanted them downloaded.
He knows it. He has to know it's me. So there's Nick celebrating. Happy kid. I probably could have found a shot where he was smiling and made it even better. But how can you not think of this when you look at that? Use
Wow.
the
I hope
other
you didn't
picture
insult
where
him
the head.
here.
No, I want to start calling him Shaggy. And I mean it in the nicest, like it just the hair, the goatee, the smile, the slim stature, everything about it makes me think, my God, he looks just like Shaggy. One of my favorite people growing up.
Well, you know how this works, right? It'll either never come out of his mouth or he'll show up with Shaggy across the nameplate of the race car in the next 2 weeks. As happened with pinball. Someone asked, pinball going to be back after his triumphant rollover on Friday? And I got this message from Huntsinger today. Just drove through town. Pinball streak will stay alive. He's pulled the backup out and fired up the Mustang. So pinball's getting ready for Friday.
Good. I'm glad you like it, Nick. And yes, Scooby snacks. This could be marketed like crazy.
Thanks again for everybody who stopped by. Thank you, Spencer, for producing. Don't forget, we're live 7 o'clock Thursday with Micro Sprints, live from Mush Weekend. We're live 7:30 Friday with Friday Night Excitement. We've got all kinds of stuff. Halloween in June and Friday the 13th. And it might even be a full moon if I'm not crazy. So
Oh, fabulous.
could be a crazy
We'll
night. What are you going to wear for Halloween, Adam? Nothing.
You don't want that.
Okay.
Happy Halloween.
I gotta go.
You guys
Nobody
have a
wants
great
to see your
night.
Halloweener. Okay. Yeah, or your banana.
See y'all next week.
We gotta get off. We gotta get out here. Hey, thanks everybody for watching from far and wide. I just want to send out to guys like Randy watching from Texas, Mike watching from Milwaukee. It means a lot that you're not in this realm, but you choose to be immersed in our little circle, and it's cool you can hang out with us a couple times a week. So appreciate it. Hope to see you in Ontario one day soon. Thanks everybody for being with us. We will see you Thursday, Friday, and of course Saturday. We're live on Racing America from Peterborough Speedway. Don't miss that one either. We'll see you soon, guys. Sunday, Flamborough will be airing on the channel too. So, wow, we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days of action coming up. Lots of racing if you're a fan. And we'll be back Tuesday. See you soon.